Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Bryant, and we got a special guest with us today. We got Cherrelle in the building.
Hey, Eli, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
It's like, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
I've been ducking it.
The viewers hit us up, so, let's take them back.
Okay.
So where you from? And talk about your upbringing.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm from New York, upstate. I know you might say something about that because you're Staten Island. But yeah, I'm from New York. I grew up in Virginia. Stayed there for about 20 plus years of my life. Got really bored from, just seeing the same old things and started coming to Florida, and I'm down here.
You have siblings?
I do. I got a little big brother who's like 7 feet tall. And then I got a little sister. She's up in New York still.
Okay, so you're the middle child.
No, I'm the oldest.
The oldest.
That's why I be telling y'all what to do.
Okay, so, talk about that.
Okay.
So you being the oldest, I know you're like the disciplinary now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So. Disciplinary, the organized one, the one who I really kind of felt like a lot of my life was like survival mode. And I really had to watch out for not just my siblings, but things happening in the family, but always looking out for my mom type of thing. I, just always felt like I was the safety net being a child.
Okay. So did you have any jobs growing up?
A lot. I had a lot of jobs, but I always, what's crazy is I always had 2 jobs. So I was always either a server or working some type of corporate job. When I graduated high school in 2004, just showing my age right now. I graduated high school in 2004, and I went and did like dental for like a year and a half, like a trade school, which was cool because I wanted to be a dentist. I love being in people's mouth. I don't know why. But yeah, I wanted to be a dentist, did the assistant thing for about a year or 2, and ended up taking that job and doing x-ray and going into industrial x-ray. So that's where I started working with plane parts and building engines, and used to do the x-rays for all of that good stuff. Yeah, so I'm a little smart. I know a little something.
You got deep into it.
Yeah, and then it was just really great to see like one of the skills that you actually have transferred to a totally different industry, and then you can be in something totally different and be immersed in just a different environment, just different pay. You definitely paid more. But yeah, I love that job. Actually, I only had it for like 2 years. Yeah. Unfortunately, they laid us off. So yeah.
Did you have any hustles growing up?
Yeah, you remember those big old like jackets we used to have back in the day, like the windbreakers with the pocket on it?
Yeah.
Yo, I was the kid selling the candy for like $1 or for like a cent or 2.
So you used to put it in the windbreaker?
Yeah, loud as hell. You got this little loud thing with a bunch of candy in it. But yeah, I've been hustling since I can remember. I just hated hearing we're broke. I'm like, not me. And I'm a child. So I'm like, not me. That won't be me. So yeah, I always had the hustler mentality.
Did you go to college?
I did. Yep. Norfolk State, green and gold. Went there from 2011, 2015. Graduated with a biology pre-med degree. So. Dang,
that's a hard degree.
Yo, when I tell you organic chemistry and biochem, once I was in there, I was like, I don't know if I can finish going on. But I did it. I graduated, walked across the stage, got $70,000 worth of debt in my name. But, I was able to accomplish something. I finished it.
Okay. Yep. So what did you do after college? Like, what was your first, job after college?
Ooh, my first job was the job that you knew that I was at. Was that...
the leasing.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. It was a debt collecting right after that. So I worked for a place called like Portfolio. And a lot of people might get them calling them. So I was one of those people calling y'all. So I worked there for about a year and a half. And then I applied for the leasing agent job. My best friend, who was my boss at the time, she ended up telling me about the job and was like, you should come work here. And first couple of years it was great. And then after that, it just was like, nah, I can't be in here for 30, 40 years. This can't be my retirement. Right. This isn't it. Especially not, with a degree. You're coming out expecting that you're going to be making, a certain amount of money, and then you don't make that money. And, going into an interview, like, yeah, I should be getting like $20, $25 an hour. They were like, here's your $14 an hour type of thing.
Disrespectful.
Definitely.
So is this when you came across entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So I was watching a lot of podcasts from there. I started off watching like a lot of Max Maxwell. And really just seeing how real estate, I really love real estate. I just didn't really want to manage someone's real estate. Working in an apartment community, I was like, I kind of want to be hands off. I want to be the investor. How do I get into this without having to spend a lot of money?
Right.
So ended up seeing, flipping houses, and I was like, all right, this is it. I love HGTV. I love houses. I'm going to do this. And that's where I started getting a lot of my information from at first.
So you was on YouTube University.
Oh, definitely. Yep, all day.
So did you take action off the information you was getting?
I ain't gonna lie. No, not all the way. I feel like I took small steps. I just never really ran with it. I just had so much information. I was doing so much research, trying to figure out, like, how do you actually do this? How do you figure out the repair value of a house? And you don't even own a house, Cherrelle. Like, you live in an apartment. What are we doing here? So, I didn't really get a chance to take that step. I did a couple of things, but it wasn't enough for it to yield any results.
Okay. So how'd you get into land flipping?
Oh, yeah. So that was kind of like a landslide. It was at this point in time where I kind of felt like I wanted to give up. And I was working at 9 to 5. I was going there all the time. After that, I was driving Lyft. And I was like, I just don't have any more energy to keep putting into learning something new. That's when I came across the TTP podcast. And it really didn't seem like I was learning something new. It just felt like I was using some of the information that I already had gotten. And when you started explaining it, I was like, this makes sense. Okay, I can understand that. So really just locked in and went from there.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Like, land is very similar to houses.
Yeah.
Right? You're signing contracts. You're doing that with both houses and land. So it's a smooth transition. If you know how to do houses, you'll be smooth operating land.
Yes,
so, okay, so now you're into the land, right?
Yeah.
How'd you get your first deal?
So getting my first deal was the conversation that we had, like me and you, when you gave me a list. I know we had spoke before, and I was like, yeah, I went into houses. I went into a couple of abandoned places, and I just was not feeling it. Didn't feel safe. I didn't like being the only female in there. It just wasn't right. So, once we had that conversation, he was like, look, here's this list. Give this list a call. And that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened when you called this list? And what area was this list?
This was Desert Hot Springs.
Okay.
Yeah. So, man, that was a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right when I quit my job. So it became pertinent for me to have to do it. I had to do it. It's like I had to get something, and I can understand like the determination that a lot of the people that I'm seeing in our groups that they have. I was the same exact way. I was like, I got to get this deal. It changed for me when I changed it from I have to get it to I am going to get it. Once I started changing that mindset, and then it just happened. It took me about 2 months, but it did happen.
And even before that, you got mentorship, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I feel like we fast forward. So let's back up. So you came across my podcast with TTP.
Yep.
What happened after that?
I ended up following you on Instagram. I wanted to make sure you were real, and I was like, ooh, you're not gonna scam me. You ain't getting me. Nuh-uh. So followed you on Instagram, saw what you were doing for a while, and I seen a lot of your content that you were doing in your early stages was downtown Tampa. And I just started seeing some of the same buildings that I was seeing when I had, came to visit here. And I was like, man, if he needs somebody to work with him, I already know this area. Like, boom, let's do it. And I just reached out to you on Instagram one day. I remember you had posted a post and said you needed a female worker or a female hitter or something like that.
That's what
and I was like, that's me. I don't care
hitter.
how thirsty I look. I don't care. I'm sliding in the DM. We're going to work together. And I was saying that because I wanted to project that information out there to myself. I wanted to put it out into the universe. But it really just aligned. So, yeah, reached out to you, and history's after that.
Yeah. And I remember this time because you said the same message I basically said to Dan. So that told me right there, she actually paid attention, when I'm speaking to Brent Daniels in the TTP podcast.
Right.
You led with value. You was basically like, I'll work for you for free.
Free.
I just want to learn. I want to gain experience.
Yep.
So from that point, this is when I started my mentorship now, right? You remember this?
Yeah.
Josh was my first mentee at the time. And then that's when you hit me up.
Yeah.
So we decided to do it, right? But how did we structure it?
So I remember we were in Starbucks, and I didn't have no voice, nothing. I was sick, And you were just like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to work this. And you told me how much it was. And I didn't blink an eye. Like, I was just like, I don't care how much this is. I'm going to figure it out, whether I'm going to have to go on my 401k or are we going to do something. And you really did help me out. You know, you let me put a little bit of money towards it. And then my first deal that I got, you let me take those proceeds and pay you back for that mentorship. So one, I could never say thank you enough. Like, I appreciate that.
Good
for real, for real. I know a lot of people look for that right now,
yeah.
and that's just a different part of, you know, the business at first. But it was dope.
You know, because that was early on. So
yeah.
I was just getting into, you know, the teaching space.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when you contacted me, you know, we decided to do the 5,000, but on the back end.
Yeah.
Once you get that first deal.
Yep.
Because I remember we was on Zoom. And I started having you make cold calls.
Yeah.
You was practicing the script.
Yep.
And I remember that first time you speaking on the phone and you speaking to the seller, and I feel like you connected with the seller like really, really quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, I could see the potential.
Yeah.
You know, and then the strategy we do, right? So let's talk about that.
So I love the whole strategy we do with the reverse wholesaling. Like being able to work backwards just makes a lot more sense. So learning that from you, that right there was like step 3 for me. Like I took the first 2 steps and then after that learned it, understood it. But just being able to openly communicate with people and sounding a little bit more friendly instead of sounding like the debt collector that I knew not to sound like, having those jobs before, that definitely helped.
So, you know, one thing that I love that we do is when we're speaking to a seller.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm the first cold call. Let's say the builder's paying $40,000 in this area.
Right.
I will call the people. I will offer very low.
Yeah.
I'll offer like 20. So then when you call the next day and you're offering 30, it sounds way better.
That good cop, bad cop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't mind being a bad cop sometimes, but it's also great being a good cop. I think you had called and gave them like real low.
Yeah.
So when I can, you know, double back, hit them the next day or, you know, later on in the afternoon, boom. My name is Cherrelle. I'm calling, you know, to see if you're interested in possibly a cash offer. And now they're like, okay, how many people gonna call me for this today? And then they hear what I got to say. And when I offer a little bit more than what you was offering, it just connects like that. It's a lot quicker.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, someone was trying to offer me $10,000 less than what you offering me. Let me go ahead and see what this young lady talking about here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a deal, right?
Okay.
That first deal, I don't even think we talked about the amount. So this is in Desert Hot Springs.
Yep.
What happened? Like, how'd you contact these people?
That was hard. That was definitely off that cold call list that we were working. I know we were working at for a while because we were trying new markets, trying to figure out where we were going to go, especially on the West Coast. And it was an older gentleman at first when we first had the conversation. So now I'm having to adjust my conversation with him. Speak a little bit higher, you know, speak a little slower. And he still wasn't really 100% getting it. And we basically built that relationship. And I know the last time we had spoke, it was the conversation I had with his granddaughter or his niece. I'm sorry if I'm getting them mixed up. But if it wasn't for her, I don't think that deal would have ever went through. Because after I spoke to her, you know, she was a little, what do you want type of thing at first? And what do you want from us? But once I explained to her, like, one, who I was, the conversation I had with her grandfather, that his people were real estate agents back in the day. So, you know, I know things about this person because I'm listening. I have empathy, listening to what they're saying. But once me and her had got to talking and I let her know what we were looking to possibly do with the property, it went through.
It made sense to her.
Yeah, it made a lot more sense, yeah.
So, what do you remember the price we got this lot for?
I don't. I know the deal was $6,700. But I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think it was around, we need to be around 30. I think you got them at the low 20s, but you made $6,700.
Yeah.
Now that paid for the mentorship basically. So now we're using this strategy. And I remember last year we was getting deals, you know, back to back.
Yeah.
Doing this same strategy. And I always tell people, you know, if you have a woman friend, you know, a girlfriend, a wife, have her go on the phone with you. You know, I feel like, and do you agree to this? Like, women can connect with the seller even better than us. What would you say about that?
I definitely think that's true because my tonality comes off a little bit more nurturing. So when I am calling people, it's not like a dude calling like, oh, this guy's trying to scam me. You know, a lot of times, a lot of women are not really going to be the focus of someone that wants to be manipulative. So they think like, okay, cool, this person is really just trying to talk to me type of thing. They really just want to explain. And then I'm building that relationship with them. I'm not jumping in it initially off top. Like, hey, you want to sell your land? Like, I'm not scaring them away. I'm just like, hey, you know, I see that you got a property. I got a couple of different options. I do apologize about that. I got a couple of different options that I can, you know, help you with if you're looking to cash out on that.
Exactly. And then from there, you know, build that rapport, get the email, send that purchase agreement, and you make money.
I'm telling you, that's the best feeling. Like, when I got that first one, and I was in the house like, wait, is this what? And then you said, yo, congratulations. I was like, yes, proof of concept. That's all I needed.
I remember you made a reel, you know, dancing with the check.
With the purse. I still got that check. Hold on. I put that sucker in a frame. I had to put that in the check. And then kind of tell myself a little bit of something like, yo, you did this. Like, it might be small. Somebody be like, oh, you only kept, you know, $1,700 from that. But the knowledge that I gained just from sitting in that Starbucks with you, it was A to Z. I was like, okay, boom, this works. I would have paid it. I would have paid double the price, to be honest, even if you would have said it.
So talk about the importance of mentorship.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So I don't think I would have gone forward with too much of any real estate if it wasn't for someone already having their foot in the game, already kind of knowing what they're doing. I was too nervous. I'm like, now I need to see you do it first. Like, I need to see you go first, and then I'll do it. I don't mind leading, but I need to make sure that I'm not leading myself into a trap. I don't want you to lead yourself into a trap, but at the same time, I want to learn from your mistakes.
Okay, so that's exactly what you did too. I remember we used to be on Zoom making cold calls, you know, hours upon hours, and then soon you got involved, you know, you started getting deals. So but I got some questions I want to ask you.
Okay,
so
let me get serious.
Take out the phone, you know, I got these questions. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Ooh, I want to be the rich auntie. I got a lot of god babies, and, you know, about to have, you know, a blood niece or nephew soon. So it just was that, like, seeing the future. I don't have any children of my own yet, but I do love on them a lot, and I want them to have a legacy, whether it's gonna be part of me and part of my friends, whatever it be. I want them to say, Auntie Cherrelle, she did this for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So why do you think land is that route for you?
It's easier. It's easier to get into. It's less emotion. Even though I don't mind emotion, I don't mind, you know, having empathy on the phone here and there, but I'm not having to have that conversation with Becky Joe and how she used to swing on the tire swing outside of her house, and her grandmother made, you know, pumpkin pie every Sunday. We're not having that conversation. Even though it's not bad, it's just now I can go into land saying, look, I see that you got a property. Can I put some money in your pocket? And now we can just have a conversation. It's straight to business. It's not all of that, you know, Disney Channel stuff.
Exactly. All right. So how do you handle the ups and downs within this business? Because you know it's not always up, right? They see us shining. They think it's always good.
Right.
So how do you handle the ups and the downs?
It's a mindset now. It's a totally different mindset. I have to be able to shut myself on and then shut it off. That was like my biggest thing, because I always gave a lot. So I always said, okay, but if I'm giving a lot to everybody else, I got to be able to give that to myself. As long as I can get myself up and do what I need to do, I can keep pushing and reach my goals. Okay. So can you share a moment within this land flipping business that you felt like extremely proud about, like fulfilled? I ain't gonna lie, yo. I got a trucking company, and yes, I do have another business. But when I tell you, being able to close as many deals as I have with you, it showed me more profit than the trucking company did. And when I started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel get bigger and bigger and bigger, faster, I was like, yo, I can do what I want. I can move. My job, I'm quitting my job soon. This is what I'm gonna do. And that's why I was like, yo, changing my life. Changing my mindset changed my life. And now I changed my environment. So now being, from Virginia, moved down to Florida last year, and it's just up and up.
Let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like changing your environment was so impactful?
So in Virginia, I used to live right on Main Strip of the Shipyard. So you got 3 or 4 shifts, if I'm not, mistaken, and you got everybody zombies. Like, they're literally zombies. And I used to work outside of my desk where I look outside the window.
Yeah.
And they're walking down to the gate, and then they get off for lunch. They only got a 30-minute lunch.
And it's the same thing every day, right?
It used to drive me insane, hearing the alarm go off, and I'm like, yo, I feel bad for them. But they make great money down there. But I was like, yo, I don't want to be in this, even though I'm listening to podcasts, listening to courses and trying to like learn better. I'm in this environment where I'm learning better, but the moment I walk out of my house, I'm not in the best environment. So I was like, I need to get up out of here. So when I came down to Florida, I just got closer with you guys. So it's like me, you, Jazz, we running the streets of Tampa now. So being in this area and seeing all of this money that be around here, because Virginia, you don't see no G-Wagon driving down the street.
Right.
So to me, I'm like, oh, that's my car. That's my car. Oh, this is my house. I had more to aspire to.
Right.
I wasn't just settling, because I really was like, okay, in Virginia, like, yo, I'm comfortable here. Like, I know my way around. I'm going to buy a house. And I was like, that's scary. That's not what I wanted to do. Like I said, I want to be rich auntie. I want to travel. I want to go here. It's not about the material things. I just want the freedom.
Right.
And I seen a lot of that once I came down here. I seen the freedom. I seen what I can do. And then being around y'all and y'all doing the same thing, it pushes me. Because sometimes we be in the meeting and I'm like, I am too tired. And you're like, let's go do some content or do something. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm just like, I'm
like,
energized.
You gotta wake up. Right. Us being entrepreneurs, we don't have nobody telling us what to do.
Right.
So our clock don't stop.
Exactly.
And that's why I be telling people, your clock don't stop if you're an entrepreneur.
But you know what, too? That's another thing that's a downfall sometimes for entrepreneurs, because you keep going. Like, I roll up out of my bed 3 a.m. and, go, wash my hands real quick, go to the bathroom. But I come back and I'm like, let me check and see something real fast. And now I'm up till the sun comes up.
That's my next question, right? How do you balance life and work?
I love going out to eat. So, as long as I'm able to, experience a new restaurant here and there and be able to take myself outside, I'm getting better with my regimen, getting better with going outside, getting grounded, going to the gym. I'm still working on that. But it's something that, is able to help me continue on.
Let's bring it back, right?
Okay.
What if you knew about land flipping at 21 years old?
Dude, you
right?
gotta tell me
So
that.
There's a woman, a female right now, 21 years old.
Yeah.
What would you tell her with the knowledge that you have?
Run
and
immediately, right towards the goal.
And within land flipping?
I would say, take that chance. Jump off that boat. I know your life vest might be a little tight and you might be a little scared, but it's going to work. Like, it's going to work. I had to keep telling myself that. I'm like, if I can see one person doing it, I know 50 people could do it. If 50 people could do it, and they've been doing this for years, everyone can do it.
Right. So now, let's say you go back to 0 deals, right?
Okay.
What would you do to get a deal?
As in process, or?
Like, start back from square one. Not the process, but like, I guess broken down into, like, you don't have to go into detail, but break down what you would do to get a deal if you had to start over again.
If I had to start over again and I didn't have the education, I'm definitely taking a course. Okay. I'm definitely educating myself properly. That's like me right now. Yes, I have a biology pre-med degree, but I'm not going to walk into a dentist's office and say, let me pull your teeth right now. I need to have that next step of training. So that training, taking that course, I would definitely do that. Once I get right with the course and I know what I'm doing, I'm reaching out to my builders now. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is reach out to my builders, build that rapport with them, bring them some donuts sometimes, walk into the office, let them see who you are, and then, kind of go from there.
Let's say you have $1,000.
Okay.
And 60 days to get a deal. What are you going to do to get a deal?
$1,000 in 60 days. Definitely pulling a list. Pull a small list, start cold calling, start texting. Yeah, and just start trying to figure out if I can find properties that, let's say if I found a builder and they brought a couple properties, I'm going hunting for what they're looking for. Help myself out, save myself some time, and then that's what I'll do.
How are you reaching out to these builders?
If I had to skip trace and I had $1,000 and I wanted to save a little bit of money, I would do True People Search. That's a free website. No one really knows about it, but I would go on truepeoplesearch.com. I would skip trace some people one by one, and either you can use, if you're trying to be free and keep it cheaper and keep your overhead low, Google Voice. But if anything else after that, I'm gonna spend my money on maybe a single line dollar, pay $20 or $30 a month, and go from there. So you can be a little more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get back to the questions, right?
You get me.
So, what is your ultimate vision within this business?
I feel like a lot of that has changed over the last several years. I feel like my ultimate vision is to see a lot more of us in the real estate business, in the game. It's a comfortable, relaxed lifestyle, but we be behind the scenes like going a little crazy, but it's so worth it. It really is.
So basically getting more people into the game.
Yeah, I want to see some more younger folks in the game. I want to see, more women in it, more women investors. Like, I think that is something that's so amazing. Like, when people ask, like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an investor. They're like, oh, really? Okay, what do you invest in? Now that conversation is just like to the moon.
Right. And, what's crazy is we're a very small community.
I know. It's like 50 of us.
For real. That's what it feels like. That's actually like getting deals and doing this consistently. So we got to make that bigger.
Yeah.
We got to recruit more people in, because more people is going to bring us deals. More people is going to bring more people in. That's going to bring us deals. And deals is just going to come to us like abundance,
That abundance mindset.
Yep.
No scarcity.
Exactly. So, you have any last words you want to give the viewers?
It's always a future for some type of learning. Learn every day. I feel like if you stop learning at a certain time, you just stop growing. If you got a family, if you got children, it is a disservice to not learn things that are going to be better for yourself in the future. You don't want to hold your children back by not learning what we need to do in the future. We need to learn how to be entrepreneurs. We need to learn how to work from anywhere. We can work in Bali if we want to and still find properties in El Paso, Texas, or in Virginia, or wherever you are. We thinking big over here now. So it's not just about me, and that's why I feel like a lot of my deals started coming in a little faster when it wasn't like, oh, Rel needs to get her hair done, or Rel needs to go here, or I want to do this. Once it started turning into other people, it just made it more worth it. Worth my while.
I tell people, stop. Save up to where you have 6 months, but stop working wages. Find deals.
Yeah.
The money is in finding deals, because there's no limitation. All right. So if you guys want to learn how to flip land, I do free classes every Thursday at 7 p.m. Text 813-687-8867. Game changers.
Sir.